for the Magnus in particular on Fnatic's side. Could also choose to give it to DP, of course, to have a very long...
Yeah, but just having these familiars able to scout this out constantly is a pain in the ass for Fnatic, as their lead is only 3K now.
Oh, Zai! Oh, he got bad.
Yeah, he did
a very inopportune time.
But Raven not capitalizing, or... I mean, it is a freaking tanky target, so understandable not wanting to go on top of Zai. And this Roche, he's starting to get low.
They're committing.
Pop, they are committing indeed. Matu gets the Whirling Axis. Who's going to get it? Nice RP on the other side. Who gets the Aegis? It's snatched by Armel. So the Roshan itself actually goes to Liquid as a huge Avatos comes out, but BKB galore not going to be enough to save anybody from Liquid. 3 dead right off the bat, and a disastrous fight for Liquid overall. 0 heroes die on Fnatic's side, and they get the Aegis. I'm not sure who got the shard. It looks like Tiny got the refresher shard. Yeah,
Tiny has the refresher, so at least Liquid got something there. But that fight, that was not even, they were not even remotely close to killing a single hero. Like, yeah. DP just commits in, pops BKB and Exo, they get the Roche down, and Jabs finds an RP on 2 targets to the south of the pit. That's just super clean. Fnatic really biding their time, waiting until Liquid kind of have to go, and then they get this RP right there. So Doom, as well as Visage, get skewered into an Overgrowth.
Oh yeah, that Overgrowth is on the entire team.
Yeah, just clean.
Good Lord.
Super clean. Is this just Megas?
I think this is Megas, I'm pretty sure. Although that buyback from Matu is there. No buybacks for the Visage or the Tiny as of yet. So Fnatic can just go for these structures, technically. Let's see if they're able to defend here for Liquid. Let's see the Scotty online. Oh, instant hacks, beautifully done. But no Overgrowth yet, because they just use it, obviously. And they're going to be able to clean up Troll Warlock. Matu, he's just dead. That might be it. Game 1's going to go the way of Fnatic, as GG's not quite called. But this is certainly going to be Mega Creeps, and no buyback available for Matu.
Shannon, I think we need to... Oh, hang on. They might just kill Armel here.
Armel, this would be a nice kill, but they're going to have to do a lot more than that because of that Aegis. Raven just chopping down yet another hero. And the Overgrowth to follow. Skewer out with the BKB. Focusing on the DP right now. Armel extremely tanky. Another couple right clicks will do it. Looks like he's going to live for now, though. And you can see the Doom applied to Wraith King. Not the target you're going for, but don't have much choice at this stage of the game. 18K lead for Fnatic as they're looking to clean up game number 1. And with only 1 remaining member of Liquid, I expect GG's to be called, and there we go. So Fnatic, I mean, they got off to a really good start. Liquid did a pretty good job of coming back in this, but really the story was Roshan.
And you know what, the story,
it was close.
The story also was a fun fact about this game. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's one thing that happens pretty rarely in Dota, and that is that a hero plays an entire game without pressing their ultimate. Did Troll ult this game?
That is
This was
true.
a 33-minute game. I think Matsu never got to use his ult.
Is that actually true?
Did that happen? I'm trying to remember. Maybe he used it once. Liquid just never got to play any sort of meaningful fights. From my perspective, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he did get it off. I don't remember seeing it or hearing it.
Are you spreading fake news again?
I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what the real news are. Fnatic are here to win. They're looking really good in this group, and this game was no different. They absolutely crushed Liquid here, who have yet to claim a win, of course. They got the default win against Mind Games, so worst case scenario for them. If everything goes absolutely horribly wrong, they will still be going to the playoffs, but they want to have a better showing than this. This felt like a game where their hands were just tied from minute 10, and Fnatic were just deciding everything. They're making all the moves, they're taking all the towers, they got the Roches.
If Liquid, so that last Roshan, if they had actually gotten everything and were able to get out without dying on everybody, they would be back in that game. It was actually closer than it looked, but the snatch with the Aegis, that's a big deal, and then they just dropped dead. I mean, that was beautiful RP into Overgrowth. They just had the AoE for Fnatic to actually contest.
It's kind of also a little bit of wishful thinking to think you're going to get out of there as well, right? Like, even if you do get the Aegis, how do you escape a team that has RP and Overgrowth? In order to go and contest the Roche, you have to pop your BKBs.
Right.
And, well, which BKBs did you even have? You had Tiny, right? That was the only one. So Troll could have maybe Manta something off, and that would have been it.
I mean, that's the other story, is the Manta...
I don't know. I'm just saying, from my perspective, this game is insanely difficult to play Troll in. So I don't think Matsu played an awful game. It's just a fun fact about the ult. It wasn't like, oh, Matsu totally dropped the ball, that's why they lost. It's just, how do you play Troll under these circumstances? I think it was really difficult.
Yep, so with that, Fnatic up 1-0 to start this series. Liquid still looking for their first legitimate win. I mean, is that fair to say?
Their first win.
Their
I mean,
first
everybody else won.
Yeah, they're not winless technically because they did. I mean, let's not get into technicalities with this robot next to me. Let's see what Pyrian and the other degenerates on the panel think about game number 1.
Thank you, Shannon, so much. We're going to be going for a little break now, and then we'll come back, and then these degens will indeed break the game down. Don't go away. We've got game 2 coming up soon, but before that, analysis of game 1. See you in a bit.
You love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
What a walloping that Fnatic just dished out to Team Liquid, who still look like they're struggling. I'm going to find out what it is they're struggling with. We're going to look at some replays and everything, but there you go. Look at that. Fnatic 1-0 up against Team Liquid. And chaps, things did not go to plan for Team Liquid in this game.
No, I mean, we did favor Fnatic's draft for a reason. Also, they're still undefeated with their opener, Shaman plus Treant Protector. I think it was not addressed enough. They got their comfort heroes, and they they just rolled over the game. Like being able to take all 3 Roshans. The first one that we mentioned having probably the 2 best heroes in the game to take Roshan, maybe Ursa, Templar Assassin here and there, but yeah, they go in, they sneak it. It gives them advantage to just go for objectives. And this mag, like in terms of like laning stage, he was doing okay, and then like he picks up the Blink Dagger, suddenly it's a huge show.
Indeed. Let's have a look at the first of our 2 replays here, and give me a quick talk through what's going on. Why did you want to single this out?
Yeah, because they just took the Roshan before that, and their abilities came back online, both Exorcism and Shaman ulti, and this was a Blink Dagger reveal. So he lands an extremely... Jebs does such a good job opening, whether that's an RP or just a skewer back to be able to open up the fights for Fnatic.
Which is something we spoke about beforehand, about having that Magnus ability to be ready to counter-initiate if they come and start against your mighty ball, I think you said.
Yeah, I think Lacoste said it perfectly. Just this chaos. Like, Magnus doesn't like when he's the one that has to start things, but he didn't really start that fight because...
Can you use the spare mic there, please? Because we can't actually hear you. I think it's knocking about. There you go.
Hello?
Yeah, let me just turn it on, maybe? Maybe you're not plugged in? I can hear it.
There you go, Jenkins.
I do this for a living.
Scrub. Absolute scrub. All right, we don't even care what you think. SVG, talk us through this next replay here, okay? Because we don't care what Jenkins has to say anymore.
I think this is another one of those fights. If Fnatic gets to anchor the fight where they want, that's part of the power of this Mag Shaman. Like, this Mag Shaman goes back to China. It goes back to a concept that Team Spirit also like to use with this Magnus, where you get 2 things about it. One is the skewer into the Shaman anchoring of the fight is super nice. Shaman also has the insta-hex off the back of it. So once that fight happens like that and Liquid has to commit into it, it's a nightmare. Because again, they had the frontliners in DP Wraith King, right?
Yeah.
These are some of the best heroes to just sit there and like, come into me, bro.
Right.
And the second they come in, the fight's super free for the supports of the mag.
Especially because you have the tower push, right? So it's like you sit in front of a tower, you throw a bunch of skeletons, you use DP ulti, you use the Serpent Wards, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you have to show up because otherwise you lose your towers.
Indeed.
So that gives Magnus the ability to skewer back and to hit 3-man RPs behind the tower.
Let's have a look at the head-to-head Raven versus Matu in terms of damage done in this game. Any second. There it is.
All right.
So Raven 18.7k to Matu's 9, so twice as much damage. Obviously, Raven having a huge effect there. So not only presenting a front line, but also dealing out the deeps as well.
Here's the point that I wanted to get somebody fighting about. Maybe you two can fight about it. You can speak for Cinderin. Cinderin said that looked like a bad troll game. SVG said that looked like a great troll game.
Well, that wasn't exactly
He said
what
it looked great. I mean, it's not
Troll
1K damage here.
So the thing about
boy.
Troll in that game that I thought was good is if he can get to his Manta, potentially BKB, and he has the Grim Shard behind him with the Dispels, if he gets in a point where he can man fight the cores in that game, DP and Wraith King, he will slay them. The problem in that game is there's Treant, there's Shadow Shaman, and there's this Mag RP that can come out. And those are a nightmare for Troll to play into. So it's by no means a free Troll game. I think Troll can do well in that game if he potentially has more backup to help him fight through.
And if he has 2 times more items than the enemy carry. That's always the problem.
Let's just go, chaps, and let's have a look and see what Slacks has to say, because he's down there on the ground. Jake, can you hear me? He's not there.
He's on the ground.
Hello?
Oh my God!
Don't worry, guys. I'm right here. I wouldn't go anywhere. Welcome back to the player booths here, where we're finding the players playing live. I'll give you the download, the real scoop. I'm gonna keep my voice down here. These guys were real hype, you know. They finished their game. They're all smiles. They're laughing. They're hugging. 2 of them did the little with the thumbs, like, we're having a good time. Everything's real chill in there. But Liquid, not so much. Liquid's like me when I try to talk to my wife, just ignoring. They won out, and it was kind of down. They were very happy at the beginning of the game, didn't talk too much afterwards. Coach looking a little bit. Go ahead and, if you want to show, Blitz is not happy, dude.
That is not Blitz's happy face.
No, so they're going to figure it out. I did make a bet that if Troll Warlord lost, he had to buy me a hamburger patty, so I could have done something with it, but I'm not going to say that. I'm a big part of it anyway. But yeah, any questions here? I mean, that's really the... I try to find some cool scoops. Liquid had some tissues in empty cups.
Nice.
Fnatic Jabs left his glasses on the table, so that's...
Hot. Yeah, that's good information. Thanks,
That's
Jake.
neat. Oh, there's Heather. Hey, Heather. This is the girl in Twitch chat. Every single time that they say, hey, can you start the game? She's the one who's in charge of starting the game, and she doesn't do it on purpose. Heather, why don't you start the games?
Why would we want to start Dota games?
That's right. What's your favorite hero in Dota?
Ashe.
You see? All right. Well, thank you, Heather. If you are in chat and you want the games to start, Heather is the one who gets them going. So thanks a lot, Heather. You're doing great. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jake. Good luck finding some more scoops for us, some more hot scoops.
You guys don't have to leave.
No, we gotta go. Sorry, brother, we gotta go.
Are you sure?
Yep,
right.
cut.
I don't think that was who he said it was.
No, that was definitely not.
There's a bit of lying action going on.
I know who that was.
I could sense the kind of deception.
Well, Slacks is a liar.
Bit of
He is an actual liar. We're going to go to break. We'll be back shortly with Game 2. So don't go anywhere, because it's going to be an interesting one. See you soon. Welcome back. Hope you had a nice break, ready for Game 2. The draft between Fnatic and Team Liquid has just started, so don't worry, you haven't missed anything. And we're going to look through the draft and make predictions. The lads were right last time. They liked Fnatic's draft, and Fnatic took game 1. Let's see what kind of draft they can come up with for game 2. Let's get into it, chaps. Into the draft.
Yeah,
there's the lads, there's the draft.
One thing to point out, you know, we said there is Boom player in the tournament, there is Bet Boom, there's also Boom.
Yeah.
In this particular series, there is Jabs as coach, second coach for Team Liquid, and then you have a player named Jabs.
Indeed, lots of Jabs, lots of Booms. There's that Shadow Shaman again. Has Tree been banned, or are they just letting him do it again?
They're letting him do it again. I guess they think that the DK Hoodwink is somehow a counter to it. You know that they know this is coming, right?
Right.
I guess Hoodwink, you know, Tree is standing in trees all the time, and so you get the, you know, free bushwhacks. You can hunt the tree down, strong lane with the.
And she can scurry to look for him as well.
Yeah, it's something. It's something, but that's not really what Tree's about these days. It's really about the living armor, throwing that on 2 cores, the overgrowth, which we saw in the last game,
was big,
yeah. For Abaddon instead.
All right, I like that a lot. I mean, it's a bit of a different approach because they decided to open up with the Dragonite, being able to remove the stun. There is a break mechanic, so Abba needs to be a little bit more careful. Coming up from the sharpshooter, you need to click it manually. Very hard to do. Press R on the keyboard.
Very difficult.
Sometimes it does happen. I like Dead Prophet as a response. Dead Prophet, after the patch dropped, people were not they stopped playing it because you know, okay,
everyone said,
now
oh,
it's actually balanced, it's working how it's supposed to work, but it's still a very strong hero. We saw it in the previous game. The reason why I mention it because I love the AoE silence against both Shaman and Abba.
I think the one downside though is I feel like Liquid's kind of falling into a similar thing that happened last game where you fall behind on this ball and team fight. I'm not sure Liquid is the best team at responding to these really early 5-mans. I think they prefer to play the lanes out, gain an advantage, and then play the map and not be forced to play reactionary or group up to deal with the early objective taking. And that's exactly what Shaman is always going to do because people are always going to abuse those wards. So already you have basically 2 single target heroes going into a save plus the Shaman where Fnatic can pick up even more AoE down the line. I just want Liquid to think about it going into the second phase, right? Like what happens when they group up with the Shaman?
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to just run into them in 5v5. You can take the approach of trade on the map, play it out, but have a game plan.
Whenever it's a good Rubik game, they will pick the hero and they will play it from position 5 against Abba, against Shaman. I don't think you can ask for 2-3 better abilities that you can steal. Maybe throw an OD in there, a couple of big teamfight LTs, but it looks good. They can also play Rubik as a position 4, play Hoodwink as a 5. Teams do that, but
not going to happen with Liquid.
Not going to happen in Liquid, exactly.
Also, they have DK Hoodwink. That's a kill combo. Insania said you have to steal kills to play Rubik 5. There you go. You run around with these heroes and just yoink the kills.
He wouldn't do that to his team.
He would. He would, and he does. And he probably will.
I mean, I really think you want some AoE or some team fight from your other support here for Liquid. The one that comes to mind is Undying, which is what Insania usually plays when they need that. But Shaman can do well, and you're kind of picking it potentially a little blind here. It depends what they see coming out of that phase. I think something even Phoenix would be nice, but I'm not sure if they are going to have the slots and players to play it on.
Because DK solves a lot of the issues. This can also be safe lane, mid lane Dragonite. The hero has been all over the place pretty much, so still decent amount of flexibility from Team Liquid. But when you have Dragonite, oh, we have a guaranteed stun. We don't have to worry too much about it. On the other side, there is Abba, so...
It kind of looks like Liquid's given up on the Nature's Prophet. It's something they were first phasing for the last 5 series that they've played, and just totally ignored in the first game, and totally ignored so far in this one. And I mean, it doesn't look like a particularly. I mean, I suppose you can split push versus
I think that hero just had a rough early start to this tournament, and people kind of lost faith really fast.
You think it turned people off?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so too.
The thing about Furion is he's super hit or miss. You're either feeling the hero or you're not, and if you're feeling him, he's first pick, and if you're not, they have no faith in that hero. I would be wary of again Tide and Timber. in particular for Fnatic coming out here. I think these are their go-tos with this Shadow Shaman.
Both were banned in the first game as well.
Yeah.
They do go the Undying.
So they're taking this Dirge, like we said, to try and block some of these, you know, robust strength offlaners that are giving those AoE. I think it's a decent route to go.
These heroes don't hit Tombstone either, so it's like, it's good team fight if they actually do want to run into the Death Ball. It's like, if you're an Undying and they want a Death Ball, it's like, go for it. I'm going to drop a Tombstone and just destroy you. I feel like Fnatic wants to pick something that deals with the Tombstone now.
You can right-click it down with Shaman Wards. It's not terrible.
Terrible.
TB has the highest win rate in the game versus Dragon Knight. That is a very good matchup. It's one that is a pub thing, so TBs always end up getting the items to survive the burst from DK, and that's why.
And also Dragon Knights, like, they do love to go for Aghanims, and then you just use Reflection on them, and plus Scotty, they can't move.
They can't.
Oh no.
Yeah. Even just the regular Dragon form plus the Terrorblade Q is enough. Back for the mag.
I mean, it worked last time.
It did. It really did.
Do they have enough to go with it? I feel like last time your whole point about, in fact, all of you were saying, like, they've got so much stuff to either put on the ground or present that the mag can then bring that hero in.
They've less this time.
It's not as comboable.
No, but still the Serpent Wards, it's something. Oh, they go for the Spectre against the TB.
Wow.
Yeah, that matchup is still rough.
That is not a good matchup.
The upsides are, it's one of the better Shaman jumpers, and when you're playing versus Mag Shaman, it's going to be similar to last game, right? Fnatic wants to anchor the front, they want to skewer you into the Shaman. Spectre, great at not really caring about that. She either jumps the Shaman, kills him off the bat,
yeah, but you need,
or
like,
she's disrupting Mag.
You need instant jump, otherwise Shaman hexes the illusion. Also, like, they don't have any kind of burst damage for Terrorblade other than Hoodwink. Like, their damage is very static. They need some kind of magical damage.
They can still get a last pick offlaner here. That's like the upside for them. It's usually a lot of these offlaners can shut down Terrorblade in the early game really well. At least historically, you think of heroes like Darkseer or Timber, so I think Timber could still be an option for them. Give them a bit more scale in the damage department, and it looks pretty good in terms of the tempo for the game as well.
Well, Twitch chat certainly conclusively thinking that Fnatic are going to win. In fact, it's only getting worse. People are backing them even more. 86 to 30. Oh, it just keeps going up.
Not a bad Underlord game either for Liquid against Fnatic.
Team Liquid, like, they do have a stun, they do have Bushwhack, but there's Abba Shield. Relatively limited in terms of, like, lockdown so far with what they got. So I'm, like, leaning towards Spirit type of a hero or like a Batrider for Fnatic. I feel like they could definitely fit that in.
I think the other route Fnatic's thinking about is, I could see them put this mag mid
ban
and pick like Necro or something.
Yeah, against TB.
That's cool. That is cool. Wow, they really think something weird is gonna come out here.
Yeah, that is not a hero you
Blitz is like, what
are
the
supposed
hell?
to ban, I think.
Yeah, they ban Zeus.
Generally.
Also having Zeus Spectre, it would make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
it could have been good. Yeah.
It could have been really good.
5 seconds remaining.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
Jump.
I think spirits are definitely nice because for Liquid, because they have the Spectre Haunt, so you've this excellent like scouting and setup for a spirit to, like, you want a backline jumper right now for Liquid. If you can, like, Queen of Pain, I guess Puck to a degree, like Ember Spirit, those all sound pretty solid. Storm obviously would have been great, but that's a top tier hero. It's gonna get banned.
Oh, here
they
it
banned the
comes.
Underlord.
Fnatic's last pick, rounding out their draft. You were saying they could push the mag mid. Let's find out.
The one I would maybe consider is for this Necro, just because it makes the Undying lane a little annoying, and then this Spectre matchup is just so bad, and if they want to just play the slow-paced ball, you run into us, it kind of fits that.
Yeah. Pango.
All right. So they still have some lane flexibility, but this is another really good Magnus combo. This Pango with Empower can accelerate insanely fast, and it was something OG played around with a lot, where they had this Thompson Pango with the sub-mag, and they really like that. So it gives them a lot more tempo in early game, while at the same time, their scale got kicked up even more.
And similar to previous game, like, you have this Pango going in first, and then Magnus following it up.
Yes, another frontliner.
another front line that you mentioned that's going to be...
It is mid-Cottle.
Huh. All right.
How much does that change things?
It's a pretty nice pick here. There's not a lot of gap close. This hero destroys Terrorblade at a lot of portions of the game because he just outranges them with huge magic damage. They do have a Dispel with Abaddon, but it's a pretty... I mean, last pick mid-Cottle.
Yeah.
It usually wins, I feel like. It's really hard to deal with.
Did they address enough the Tombstone? Because like none of these heroes, they want to sit inside the fight and just kill the Tombstone, especially Terrorblade. And if we're talking about taking the fights where they put the high ground Tombstone, might be a bit difficult. I like Team Liquid's approach more in this game. I think they address some of the issues that they had in the previous game. I always feel kind of 50-50 when we're talking about the mid-Cottle.
Which way are you leaning?
I'll still go with Fnatic.
Fnatic.
I'm going to go Liquid. I don't think the TB was addressed either. I think that Undying is a pretty free game as well. And yeah, I like the TB versus Spectre matchup.
So that's Fnatic.
Or Fnatic, yeah.
Right. Okay, so you're saying Fnatic.
I think Fnatic will win.
Okay, SVG, same?
The TB. The draft's gone on this.
Well, I said Liquid will win game 2, and I'm going to stick with the boys.
Okay, we're going to go over to our casters, Suns fan and Cinderin. Lads, take it away.
Thank you very much. Can you believe that Jenkins gets paid to analyze games? He can't even remember what team had what hero.
At least he has other redeeming qualities, such as...
Man, let's get into the game.
You guys know.
Liquid versus Fnatic.
Are.
I mean, I was going to mention his hair, but that is not an asset. I'll tell you what. I mean, he could probably sell it for a lot of money for Slacks to use as a wig. I think a lot of people would pay to see that. And then turn it...
That's a content piece in the making.
Yeah,
hearing here.
Exactly. Turn that into content. Fnatic with an early smoke here. So, talk to me about these lineups in there. We got the TB. We have Spectre is probably the biggest one. We've been seeing some teams like OG and Thunder Awaken use it to pretty... I mean, I think before this event, before this last patch, it was considered the worst position one in the entire game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it had the overall lowest win rate out of any hero in Pub Dota, as a matter of fact, last patch.
Just the worst hero, period.
If you want to look at it from a strictly win percentage perspective, yeah, it was the worst hero of the last patch. Now, it got some pretty significant buffs in this small patch. It got better base HP regen. There was one other change. I actually need to look it up because nobody plays this hero until right now. Dispersion got buffed as well, was that it?
You can look at the tooltips in there and see.
Yeah, I'm not good at that.
Cheat code. Okay.
I want to see, because it doesn't show all the things. Okay, it got 2 base agi as well. That's what it was. So base agi and base HP regen. And Terrorblade, good body blocks here from Zai.
Very good.
That's not enough, though.
Photic Shield helps him get out of dodge. And for the runes, did they pick them all up? No, not yet.
Yeah, so I'm kind of... I think some of the points they made on the panel are a good summary of what could happen in this game. Like, I think it's a very good Terrorblade game against most of the heroes he's facing. He's good against Dragon Knight and Spectre, but I do think until this last pick Cottle, I was clearly favoring Fnatic, and now I'm a little bit more like 50-50 because I see a mid Cottle that is largely uncountered. There's no like super good backline catch or jump. You're very much going to be relying on Armel to get a Blink Dagger on Pango to try to catch him, or maybe Shaman with an early Blink. But if Meike is... I don't know how good he is at this mid-Cottle. I haven't seen him play it very much. But if he plays a very strong mid-Cottle, this is the kind of game that he can dominate with an early, let's say, Orchid into Dagon build, for example, just killing Terrorblade. He could go for... We've seen some Cottles go Vessel. I don't think this is the game for that. So yeah, probably that. What else would you get here?
And what about the other aspect of the game where you don't really have Tombstone killers for Fnatic?
Yeah. That is very true.
I mean, how many hits does it take? I'll let you do the math here, Cinderin.
It depends on the level of Tombstone.
Okay, well, max level Tombstone with Serpent Wards. Because SVG did bring that up, so I'm curious how long
Isn't it 32?
32 hits overall?
Don't they do a quarter of an attack?
Well, I'm the one asking the question.
Yeah. If you ask a question generally, you need to know the answer so you can tell the person you're asking if they're right or not.
This wasn't a trivia. I'm genuinely asking.
Then you have to start the sentence off. This
Armel.
is not trivia. Oh, Armel.
Pops the Fairy Fire. Got some shield crash damage mitigation as well.
Yep.
Meike off to a pretty good start here. Forcing him out as Insania is going to suicide to the tower, it looks like.
Yep. Definitely a good start to the laning overall for Liquid here compared to last game, right? So they're already 1k raw gold up. just from the laning stage. I think the boundary runes were 2-2 split, right? Yeah, they were. So this is just raw laning advantage. Especially, I'd say it's especially important that Spectre is having a great time. This hero plays very poorly from very far behind most of the time. It's had its time in the sun when it could just come back. I think lately, if Spectre has a horrible start, it just becomes a liability. In this game, Matsu's off to a hot start on that. Obviously, largely because he's playing with an Undying, one of the absolute bullies in terms of position 5s. This hero pairing is very strong. So yeah, good start here.
We didn't get to... I'm going to ask you a question I guess you probably would know the answer to. What is the build right now on Spectre? I saw Aghanim Scepter like in the mid game, but what's the ramp up these days? Is it still like the Manta as first item?
The sample size is still kind of small, right? I think we had another game. I think OG played, was it Manta Scotty? Did they also have a Falcon Blade? I'm not sure.
We're not seeing like Diffusal or anything. Now that's a lot cheaper. It looks like bot lane.
Oh,
John Well in a lot of trouble. That's going to be first blood going the way of Zai.
Is John doing so well, Shannon? I don't know what's worse, that laugh or if you actually thought it was funny. It's probably even.
I didn't think it was funny, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
What was worse? If you had thought that was a good joke or if you made that
This
laugh?
conversation is worse. I think I'll bank on that one. Raven, applying a lot of pressure to Boxy here.
Oh.
Nice.
He's fine.
Job from Boxy. Looks like he'll be just fine. DJ taking a lot of damage in the top lane in the meantime. What was the discussion? The Spectre? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep.
Did we come to a conclusion?
Not really. I think in this game, you could... Can you go Orchid this game? I think your Caudle is going to do it, right? Because Spectre is one of the carries that can go Orchid occasionally.
Oh
boy.
Armel. He is so annoyed with Mickey right now.
This is a really rough matchup for Pango.
And we can see the CS. Obviously, a lot of this is the jungle camp, but it's basically double CS for Mickey. And he is absolutely dominating right now.
I think a lot of mid players, aside from the fact that this lane is really hard to play, I think you just hate playing against Caudle because it feels hopeless, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's some matchups that are hard, but against Caudle, you can never even touch him. Like, just don't get to play. And Stania here getting skewered into the tower. Nice pick up top from Fanatic.
I mean, that's kind of feels like the case for Pango mid in general. You don't really win the lane very often. Like, obviously, you're happier if it's a melee, but generally the range heroes... Right, again, with Caudle, it's just like unlimited mana, right? You're just blasting. You don't really push the waves very fast because of the early swash. And it feels bad as Pango. But the question is, can he bounce back?
Good damage onto Raven.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Raven, he's going to get body blocked again. Pops the wand. Looks like he'll be able to live through the day and get salved by Jean-Well.
Once again, similar to last game, Jabs having a great start on Magnus. We did point out Spectre was having a good time, but this top lane is getting harder and harder. They do find the Shackle into Skewer here, so good damage. He will be fine, but...
Definitely a little bit tankier than Insania at this stage.
Hurt. Actually dropped the Tombstone here defensively, Insania. Maybe a little bit of an overkill there, but it's okay. Gets a little bit of extra heal on the Soul Rip as a result. Foxy is going to
like 10 HP.
Go die to the tier 2 and kill a courier.
That's a happy accident right there.
Yep.
Tombstone, that's a lot of gold. So 125 for Jabs, who gets off the skewer again into the tier 1.
I think he misclicked the Shackle, didn't he? I think he shackled a creep there.
That's unfortunate.
Because if you keep that Shackle going, you skew him into tower, I think this could have actually been problematic for Matsu if he's still stunned when he is in that tower. But I think the Shackle did go off on a creep that time.
Yeah, now Arcane Boots online for Jab, so he can kind of dominate the lane a little bit more.
Regenerate top. Mika's just gonna grab that
as if he
no gain. Gets it away from Armel. So I think Caudle here, Mika's gonna rush boost of travel is pretty standard. And I still think we're looking at the Orchid for now.
For the Caudle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Matsu, I'm still not sure. So treads are being eyed up now. Treads plus wand, right? Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah.
I could see Falcon Blade into Ags. I could see the Manta Scotty build. I think what you need to consider here is you're playing against RP as well as the Terrorblade. So if you do get caught by this and you're playing without a save in your lineup, you're probably very fragile. So you could consider going tankiness or going elusiveness. You kind of get both from the Manta. So maybe you want to get that fast, you can like Manta dodge stuff or fake out spells. I think it would be pretty valuable.
Top lane, you see the Shackle come out. And even Mickey was here, but it might not be enough to save Insania as the Rolling Thunder coming through for Armel gets the shield crash off, and that last proc is enough to secure himself a kill, which is much needed, because like we talked about, he's getting dominated in the mid lane. Of course, Mickey's not really in the mid lane. He's been jungling for a little bit, which provides a lot of space for Boxy to kind of catch up on the level department for the mid lane. That's one of the huge benefits of having a Coddle in general. I mean, do you think this is one of those things that Fnatic needs to kind of invade the jungle to prevent this from actually happening? They have a ward on the cliff kind of close. They have an idea that this is happening.
I just don't know if they're capable, right?
Yeah.
Their lineup, it's hard to invade. You have an Abaddon 5, a Shaman 4, and a Mag offlane. I don't know if you can find this move, and a terribly carry for that matter, in case you did want to bring your carry as part of the play. Say you had something fast that could join, but yeah, I think you just have to accept that this is how things are. Try to defend your towers and get big, and then get some sort of way of catching Coddle. I think Dagger on Pango is going to be more or less mandatory. He will get the defusal first. I'm a little bit worried Mickey's game is going to be too free if they don't specifically try to target him. He is going Vessel. Still, despite being against Abaddon and I would say against no very obvious Spirit Vessel target, he still wants to go for it, regardless, instead of Orchid.
Yeah, that is
a little bit surprising.
That doesn't work at all against Thunder, right?
No.
Thunder is just purely HP removal.
Just a direct transfer, no fees.
Wow, that's great. This would be a good time for an ad. Well,
I thought you were going to say that's wishful thinking in the US.
Yeah, that is also very accurate. We're going to see the Dragon Tail set up onto Raven, but he's just going to focus on the Tombstone, it looks like, with a nice blinding light. So they can protect. They have ways to protect this Tombstone. Obviously, it's going to be taken out regardless now. But you can kind of see the game plan from Liquid, and it'll kind of be the big story is whether they can kill this Tombstone in a decent fashion. But Raven right now, in terms of actual net worth, kind of middle of the pack, which is essentially aligned with Matu's Spectre, as he's going to get triple teamed here, making a quadruple with Matu popping that haunt. Photic Shield immediately onto Raven, though he's left to his own devices, and the Sharpshooter demolishes him. So nice pick off from Liquid.
Yeah, super overwhelmed there. Just a 4-man gank, one of them being the Haunt, makes that super nice and easy for Liquid. Get 2 kills there. And I think, honestly, Raven probably needs to get out of this bottom lane. He should have probably got out of here a minute or 2 ago, as a matter of fact, to start playing other areas of the map. He's not having a great time. Matsu's wasn't much better, but he's Spectre, and he can still get involved in some of these moves his team is making. Terrorblade really needs to maximize right now. And bottom lane's just not the place for
They
that.
really want Mickey, but he is so fast with those boots of travel. And obviously no Blink Dagger in sight quite yet for jabs on the Magnus. He gets off a skewer, but he's going to get slowed perpetually. And with Zion and Sandy in the area, that is going to be another easy kill for Liquid, who are off to a much, 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 much better start this time around. They also secure the Tier 1 tower bot for Matu. And he is working on the old Yasha to start things out for him.
This is a commanding position. When you're 3k gold up with Spectre, you're feeling good generally. This hero doesn't commonly win early game. It's happy to break even a lot of the time. The way it scales with all the illusions, etc. You know, like Terrorblade is one of the carries that can hold a candle to it later. But given the game state, Liquid are in a very favorable position here. Being up 3k minute 10 is way more meaningful than with a lot of other lineups. So,
look, DJ getting scouted out here as well by Boxy, but
can't solo
him. Is going to be running out, so
he could maybe kill Armel mid with the help of an Illuminate from Mickey here. There might
actually with 2 spells on cooldown, but
Mickey's not coming over.
Out of arm's reach here, yeah. DJ continuing to stack these Ancients. That's going to be a comeback mechanic with obviously the Empower helping out. Take these out at some point, but I mean, that death really hurt Raven, who is now, he was basically on par with Matu, but now 400 behind. Still going for his Dragon Lance into Yasha, as he is going to be TPing to the triangle, so I assume the Empower will come. And yeah, that is, what level Empower is that though? That's level 3. So should be able to take out this Ancient stack. Of course, they need to protect him.
Who's going to tank that?
Well,
bad.
Liquid might, I mean, if they get a good jump here.
If this invade works, that is just flat out game-winning stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta be so.
Stania, he's the first one. Smoke breaks, puts the Tombstone down. Bushwhack is there. And you can see the rolling thunder from Armel. The sharpshooter actually deletes the Abaddon before his ult can even activate. His Raven extremely low right now, and the Illuminate is enough to take him out. And now Liquid can try to focus on this Ancient stack or just continue to chase. The Liquid getting absolutely everything, and the skewer is canceled by the blinding light, so another kill for Liquid. But I don't know if they can take this Ancient stack, can they? It's not the best team for it.
Caudle can do everything, Shannon.
That's true. I forgot that Caudle is a hero in this game.
Yep. Remember, these Ancients do have magic resistance, so Caudle cannot kill them very, very fast, only very fast.
That is true. That hurts big time. This was kind of the comeback mechanic for the TB, and without that, Liquid are just rolling.
This was desperately needed for them.
This sharpshooter was really nice as well.
Yeah, so keep in mind, Abaddon, his ult only activates. So when you get to under 400 health, borrowed time activates, but sharpshooter deals 550 magical, right? So if you hit it at the perfect timing, or if you hit him, let's say around 600 health or something, right? So he doesn't die directly from the sharpshooter, the break applies before the damage. So it means that if you push him over the threshold where other spells would activate the ult, this one doesn't, and you don't get time to react. Like, if it pushes you to 50 health and you're broken, you just get hit by literally anything and you die. So it is a pretty nice hero in certain situations against Abaddon, and that was one of them. A nice heads up, just a good read from Boxy that he could get away with that.
Yeah, now a smoke again from Liquid. They want to keep the pressure on. Armel empowered. Has to shield crash to the low ground, so not feeling too confident here. But obviously Liquid fans happy to see that their team is with a pretty substantial lead. Of course, they did have mega creeps yesterday, Cinder, and so I guess we shouldn't be calling any game.
From what I heard, I didn't see that game, but they didn't have too long. Let's see if mid-fight.
Great call casting as always, Cinder, and as the TV gets deleted again, this time with the sharpshooter. Beautiful aim. The Rolling Thunder continues for Armel, but they're not going to be able to follow it up with much. The Solar Bind is there as well, so with the Shackle on the DK, do they have enough to actually get some kills here? Illuminate comes in, deletes another hero, and Fnatic are just getting pounded right now. 4 dead without any kind of trade, and the tier 1 to boot.
This last pick mid Caudle is just absolutely incredible this game. It's such a good draft call from Liquid, whoever suggested this. It's really what's tying everything together. He crushed his lane, he's part of the moves, he's super farmed, he's getting, he's just doing everything. He's pushing the waves, making sure that they can get these towers. He's part of 8 out of 11 kills, dealing tons of damage. You're gonna see, so this sharpshooter here, really, really nice from Boxy. Before Matsu could get sundered. Actually, Matsu also made sure to create enough distance.
You could see John Well trying to tank it as well. That was really close.
He pre-popped his ult and ran in the way, but Boxy threading the needle there. Very nice.
So, from Fnatic's perspective, how do you come back in this game? Because this is an absolute shellacking right now, Cinderin.
It's tough. I think...
Well, we're going to see actually an RP used in the enemy triangle, all for an Undying. I guess at this stage...
And he didn't die.
Are you kidding me? That double bracer, it's not even 25 minutes yet. Imagine how tanky he'll be in 10 minutes when he still doesn't have any more farm than that, Cinderin. Incredible.
That's incorrect. He just got more farm. He got an Observer Ward and 3 sentries.
Holy Jesus.
So his net worth did go up by 150.
That's great.
Which will be spent. But currently he is holding on to the blue eyes.
That feels really bad for Fnatic, though. That's an RP, all for a support that you can't even kill. Position 5 it.
That is not good. Whew. So to try to answer your question, what Fnatic need to do now, I think you have to try to, first of all, get Shaman his blink. And then I think you want to try to force a fight in the Roche Pit. That either force a fight or catch Liquid off guard and just get it for free. But if you can get a fight there, that's where Pango can shine. It's where your Serpent Wards can do something. Maybe you can find a big RP. Trying to fight anywhere else on the map in like scrappy positions or with odd numbers, I just don't think you're favored in any of those right now. The good thing about grouping up at Roche is that all your heroes get a primary purpose that's obvious. Abaddon needs to try to block the sharpshooter and cover the TB. Pango needs to get a good ult. Shaman needs to protect his wards, and you need to find an RP. The tricky part about that is, oh, hang on, bottom, they actually want to find Matsu.
Yeah. Okay, the Manta does not get him outside of the wards, but the Rolling Thunder does. That's unfortunate. And they don't have that much damage, Cinder, and DJ is taking more damage from the illusion than they're dealing towards Matu himself. DJ attempting to TP out will be fine. Still, some valuable assets expended here to try to... That was 2 ults to try to kill Matu, and it barely did any damage.
Fnatic look a little bit lost right now. This feels like a no-purpose move, right? I think if they did everything correctly, he still doesn't die. So I don't know if they were trying to bait out Haunt, and then they want to use that for something. But considering what they expended, it doesn't feel very great. I think Liquid right now could actually just go Roche. Knowing that these spells are on cooldown is pretty important for them. Sania is thinking about it. He could put down a Tombstone and use Flesh Golem for this. And it looks like they will be going over there. Manta on Spectre makes this a lot faster, of course.
Yep.
Desolate damage hurts big time on good old Roche. Keep in mind, the damage amp from Undying should just increase this damage that Spectre does with Desolate as well. The same damage type, so very, very nice and easy here.
Tier 1 tower is taken out bot lane, but Zai TPs in, gets the fireball off. Not going to be enough to actually kill Armel, so the Roshan obviously still goes the way of Liquid as Matu takes Aegis. And Boxy is actually going for an Aghanim Scepter on the Hoodwink after his Force Staff here. He's getting the Sharpshooter for a little division, not able to connect onto DJ though. Bottom lane, Armel gets off the ult. Is that enough to survive?
He doesn't mono to TP.
Doesn't have TP. That is unfortunate, but they might not end up chasing, assuming that he has the TP.
Sniper Squirrel, not gonna get it.
In the trees, do they
Zai.
see him? No.
Not check the
Armel
right.
lives. They're gonna have to do a lot more of that to try and get back in this game. Now, other than the DK, I guess they do have good lane push. I mean, Spectre not exactly a great tower hitting hero in general. That's one silver lining, I guess, for Fnatic. I mean, I don't think they're gonna, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think they're gonna lose, if they do end up losing this game, before second Roche. I think second Roche is kind of the timing for Liquid.
Yeah, it's not going to be that quick of a push. Oh, bottom. Yeah. Armel.
Field crash.
Tombstone's hounding him here. They see
no
him.
ult. And they see him. Continuing to right click. Another swashbuckle though. Doesn't buy enough time.
Didn't have enough mana to get the stun off in time.
Either way, they're going to get this tier 2 tower, and Liquid are completely dominating. It is going to be a trade for the tier 1 top.
They're not going to get this tier 2 tower.
Okay, like I said, the tier 2 tower will die at some point. I didn't say when.
That's correct. You did not say that.
Armel, Rolling Thunder, going for Zai. And just going to kill
nice glyph. That's going to connect the Coddle.
Coddle is here. Armel, TPing out. He's going to be fine. So just trying to be an annoying little Pangolier as a tier 2 tower now will fall.
All right, they found Boxy Buddy. Sharpshooter.
Wait, what? Top lane. Boxy, Bushwhack is going to connect. That's going to be an easy kill onto the Shadow Shaman. TP's out galore, though, so Fnatic doesn't lose anything else.
Boxy quick to Force Staff before he got shackled out of the Hex level 1. So he repositioned himself, got out of range of the Shaman, and that move is just over.
So as expected, the tier 2 tower does survive for now, Synderin.
Yep.
Will be going down eventually, though.
Yep, you didn't say when.
Before this game is over, it will fall.
Raven's closing in on BKB on his Terrorblade. Perhaps a little bit of a bright point for Fnatic to look forward to in this absolute beatdown of a game they're facing right now. You gotta try to find timings when you're far behind, and the only way you're coming back in this game is by fighting with some sort of meaningful item. The challenging thing is, if Liquid ever are the ones to initiate, they can just press Haunt, and Shadow Shaman and Magnus just suck, right? Like, if both of their daggers get cancelled, you can isolate whoever you want on Liquid, basically, and just start off the fight that way, get your heroes in position, and once the Magnus and Shaman get to play again, well, you might have already found a kill, or you might have, you know, information about what angle to cover. You have Tombstone. It's just very, very difficult. So I think Fnatic, you wait for the BKB on Terrorblade, and then you try to smoke and kill Spectre. I think it's your best play on the map right now. So maybe it could open up the top tower as well.
The panel kind of brought this up during the draft, but you saw some chuckling from Liquid during the draft before they picked Coddle.
Yeah.
Because of the Zeus ban. Do you think Zeus was viable? I mean, because Coddle has been very good.
I will say there is basically no way Zeus would have been better than Caudle for this game after seeing it play out. Zeus could not have done this. It could have also been a good hero for the game. Like, Fnatic's logic behind it is they have Spectre, where we have dagger-reliant heroes, and we have a Terrorblade, so Thunder God's Wrath can be a really big problem for us. It scouts us out, lets them know whether they should haunt or not, and takes a big part of our teamfight away. So Zeus was a good ban, but the fact of the matter is what they avoided by banning Zeus is not even the type of game they're playing anyway, right? Caudle has just totally transformed it into something they just can't handle this amount of pressure. Even with the BKB now. Doesn't look like he's part of anything anyway. DJ
Dragon Tail Fireball. E-Blade there.
Yeah, make it with the E-Blade Dagon 1. And now he's going for Eon Disc. So
that's when you know, when there's a hero that buys Dagon, like semi-consistently, you know that that hero is a degenerate design. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because nobody buys Dagon.
Dagon is just degeneracy to the highest extent. Swashbuckle from Armel, but Flesh Golem popped immediately. Here comes a Rolling Thunder. They actually want to commit any further. Looks like the Sharpshooter doesn't really connect this time around. Armel trying to buy as much time as the Aegis does get consumed. And not a whole lot happens there for either team, really. Zai does pop the BKB, so that's kind of a big deal. Maybe that's enough for Liquid to play a little bit disciplined here.
It's such a strong tombstone placement. I think Fnatic have no way of accessing that fight, even with that Rolling Thunder forcing a little bit. You just can't get in there with your heroes. And Liquid are fine with this. It's like, okay, we can keep farming. We've got Ags coming out now from Matu, so he can join fights. And I believe he will have this ult, or this Ags, basically all the time, because he can just get Chakra from Caudle. So he can keep having Shadow Step non-stop. Did his courier die? I'm assuming his courier is dead, because I'm not finding it, and he is not eyeing up the components, but he has 2 of them, so they've got to be flying out sometime soon. Probably
maybe he just likes collecting raw components. I've seen that in some pubs. It's the ultimate taunt, and they're winning with just raw components.
Matu Smurf, and he was training for an official match to play with half an inventory. It's kind of like training in a gravity chamber.
I'll take your word for that one.
Gravity chamber. Gravity chamber.
Okay.
There you go.
Good joke.
It was it wasn't a joke, it was a haiku.
Good joke, Cinderin. Haiku. 12k lead here for Liquid. And Fnatic just really struggling to find anything to go their way. I mean, we can kind of talk about their item progressions. Armel, he's had the Desto Orb of Corrosion for quite a while. He's going to be going for Lincolns right now.
Yeah.
I guess Dragon Tail to lock him down?
Yeah, definitely a concern for him. The Dragon Knight. Box, he's going to find jabs.
Will he, though? Okay. The Skewer comes out. The RP as well. Oh. And the TP.
Clutch.
All right.
Well, get out.
Jabs gets out, but now no RP. I mean, how much was actually expended from Liquid? Do you try to take advantage of that timing, or are you just waiting for Roche? Is this like a pretty clear-cut game from Liquid?
Yeah, I think you can chill. I think getting next Roche is you know, just playing it safe. You can give the Aegis over to Spectre and get Caudle his Eon Disc, and then you can consider starting to look at high ground. Probably, yeah, I think knocking on the front door at the top tower in the meantime is fine. You know, like step by step, it doesn't have to be super fast. I think Liquid could play quicker than this and try to press the issue, but I'm not like worried about this game going later. And I'm saying that against a team with Mag Terrorblade, which might sound a little bit crazy, right? Like, who wants to go late against Mag TB? I just think Haunt is just so good this game that you actually can deal with these threats.
Still trying to create some space here. Not able to take out that wave, but at very least does survive and connects with the rest of his teammates. And the next, this is actually a pretty long spawn. Another 2.5 minutes for Roshan, so I guess that's good news for Fnatic, although maybe they want to fight in the pit. Maybe that's their one way back, and the fact that it's kind of delayed means that Liquid are just going to continue to grow this lead in the meantime.
I'm not really sure who it favors more. I think it's largely irrelevant right now. If Fnatic can't break the games to... Oh, well, okay, the Lincolns was actually broken there on Armel, so if Sai connects that stun, he could have been dead. But yeah.
It feels like this game is, if Fnatic were to try and come back, the RP, the pit. Those are the two things that are almost necessary. Trying to think of a scenario that would make sense, other than like Liquid, you know, just starting to play like garbage all of a sudden. Just giving them everything over a consistent period of time. We're just going to assume that's not going to be the case, but yeah, the RP is going to be extremely important here.
And I guess historically speaking, something Fnatic can play for is just delaying out the game and seeing how late Liquid wants to take it. Because if a team that likes playing it slow when they're ahead, a lot of the time that has been Liquid. I think they've kind of combated that, I would say, issue of theirs that they had in the past of struggling to close out games. They've got better at it. But when the stakes are higher, perhaps you can, you know, fall back into old habits a little bit. And Fnatic are maybe hoping that Liquid will choke a little bit on the high ground.
Yeah, Matu ends up popping that borrowed time from John Well as Raven. Attempting to TP out is fine. Aghanim Scepter on Matu, so he can kind of be everywhere. But Haunt was also used.
It's resources every time, right? Sure, your heroes survive, but you use maybe an RP, or you use a BKB, you use TPs, you use Abaddon, and you're not, like, progressing in the game as Fnatic. You're just maintaining the status quo. I guess it's commendable that they're not really falling further behind on gold. So they're still floating these 12K. I just wonder what... this would be one of those moments that would be really cool to hear in on the comms, DJs and huge trouble bomb. Yeah, he was very quick on the Hex, but Matsu instantly reality to his Shadow Step. Or rather, that was actually the Haunt, not the Shadow Step that time, I believe. Or actually, it was rather the Shadow Step, not the Haunt. Please don't confuse the audience, Shen.
Good effort, Synderen.
Yeah.
You can just call it Mini Haunt if you want.
Mini Haunt?
Yeah.
It reminded me of Baby Bell.
What?
Never mind, you wouldn't know.
Great joke.
You can't just say that every time you don't understand something. Yeah. That's not how it works.
Well, I think I just proved that it does work like that. As Roshan number 3 is being attempted by Liquid, and this feels like the last chance for Fnatic. I mean, they can try to go for the high ground defense, I suppose, but it's just such a tall order. I think they have an idea that this is happening, but Rosh is already about to die. That's going to be the Aegis for Matu. And who takes the shard? Did he have... He didn't have shard before, so I guess he just consumed it as well.
Yeah, they had the one on Dragon Knight, so I think they gave it to Spec. And Spectre shard, as everybody knows, because this one doesn't get changed every 3 months, is every 300 damage absorbed, you trigger a dagger to be launched at the last player-controlled attacker, occurring at a maximum of once per 7 seconds. You knew that.
I actually did know that.
All of the details?
Well, I mean, I'm making a custom game that requires me to know all the spells, so yes, I did know that, Synderen. Thank you. Thanks for the free advertisement, by the way.
Absolutely. That was what
Synderen really sucks.
I definitely set that up. All Great joke.
Blade, Fire Blade. I agree.
Sorry, I didn't get it. All right, John.
Oh, all right.
I got excited.
Borrow time was already activated, so didn't need to get excited there, Synderen. Nice try.
True.
Will we see 420 though? That's what everybody wants to know.
More than likely, at the rate this is going. Let's have a look at the, what's it called, the win expectancy. Not for the sake of that, but to see when Fnatic got their last kill. That was...
Yeah.
Minute 22, Armel killed Insania.
It says, okay, do you agree with it? 97%.
I thought it was longer ago.
Win probability.
That sounds about right.
All right, Abaddon's dead. So it's 4-17.
Just 3 more to go, Shannon.
Yep.
Just make sure Insania doesn't die to Armel like he did about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. Was it 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
That was their last kill. I mean, if you think about it, they have about a kill per 10 minutes. So it's not like that.
So to update people in terms of the group stage that's occurring right now, nobody can be eliminated from this group because of Mind Games being eliminated from the tournament entirely. Fnatic came into this series with a 4-2. Oh. Okay, we got the skewer back, the first action in quite a while. Rolling Thunder to follow, as you can see Spectre just demolishing everybody. Raven pops the BKB.
Zai's dying!
Zai is dead, so the 420 dream is dead with him. Make sure to tweet at Zai with your disappointment. As the buyback comes out now onto Abaddon.
Zai, I was getting ready to rip a fat one and you died at EK, dude.
Zai, poor Zai. He's such a nice young lad.
They did get a buyback out of a bad and a mid-tier too, though. So even in defeat, the worst outcome that Liquid have had in quite a while against Fnatic in this game was trading 1-for-1 and getting a buyback in a tower.
Indeed.
That was the worst. And Meta was used, and Pango was used, everything. Well, not RP, I suppose, but now you can't fight again as Fnatic.
I mean, that is something to... Okay, think about this, Cinder. When Liquid lost while having Mega Creeps, did you see any of it? Because I watched the...
I did not see that game, but I heard they didn't have Mega Creeps very long.
Right, the Mega Creeps didn't last very long, but the thing that was crazy about it was... Obviously, Liquid were way ahead, and it was like this was it a skewer into like double Batrider ult into Fountain? That's how they came back.
Wonderful.
You do have skewer, not a whole lot else though, to reposition. But the skewer is pretty scary, you know, something to fear. We saw that Zai died there because of that.
Oh, there's a tombstone and a sentry ward.
That is
my favorite. This is prime Undying aggression. You walk up, you drop your stuff, and people don't care, and life goes on. That is pretty much Undying in a nutshell in a lot of situations like this. But they did care after all.
Sure to follow. RP as well. You can see the cleave come out. Thanks to the Empower, is Raven able to clean up one, but he's taking a lot of damage in turn. Sunder not doing that much.
Did he Sunder
rocket away? I don't know what happened.
He must have Sundered a Spec Illusion instead of the real one.
Yeah, possibly. Either way,
I don't think it out.
Dying is the only death thus far. Shadow Step. All right, looking for the Magnus. Matu going in quite deep. He's learned his lessons. I think PTSD is kicking in just a little bit
Batrider
here.
that time, though.
That is true. I mean, he's seeing Batrider in his nightmares after yesterday, no doubt about it. Still has the Aegis, of course, but I think he had Aegis last time and he had Wraith King, and he died 3 times in the Fountain. Okay, let's see what the Sunder was on.
Armel's dead. Just a parenthetical comment. He got ganked top by Coddlespec.
And...
Yeah, he Sundered it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean...
For what it's worth, it wouldn't really have changed much. Matu still had Aegis, and I don't even think it would have killed him anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's just that strong.
Those hitboxes sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Fnatic, they're not technically falling any farther behind. It's 16K. It's been 16K for quite a while.
Yeah.
Scotty now online for Matu is Liquid.
I wonder what he buys next. Abyssal or... Okay, it's going to be Bloodthorn. He's going to upgrade his Orchid. I think Abyssal, Bloodthorn, or Butter were the obvious choices. Terrorblade does not want to buy MKB in this game, I think. So the Butter could have also been nice. Abyssal would allow him to instantly try to snipe Mag in the backline. But Bloodthorn also a very nice value upgrade for his Orchid.
BKB getting relatively close. Actually, clicking on the wrong hero. BKB has been online, of course, for Zypher. Who's building the BKB right now? Let's see. Just clicking on literally every... Oh, there we go.
Wait, who's buying it?
Rasta.
Why? I was checking out all of Zai's allies. I was like, who are you talking about? And then it's in the other team.
Yeah, I saw DK's face. And
I should have known.
And fake news. DJ is 400 away from BKB, so he can get these long duration shackles if he chooses to do so with that Blink Dagger initiation.
Yeah, I think that's a value reason to go Abyssal here on spec, I think, is that you can hard counter Shaman opening your teammates, right? You can just instantly Shadow Step in and Abyssal as a solution for that BKB. An alternative path, which it looks like Matu will take here, is just get a BKB of his own so that he can just go in confidently and start the fight. I think if he gets RP'd while he's BKB'd, he still doesn't die to Terrorblade.
Right.
The Spectre is just that tanky. 26 base armor, you've got Dispersion. It's really, really tough to bring him down. There's no break on the Radiant, except actually Terrorblade does have his own Silver, so I guess he could be a little bit healthy in that aspect. BKB now coming out for DJ. Oh, Gaben has flatlined at 5% though for Fnatic, so it's not got worse. It is
flatlined. Okay.
Flat on 5%. So 1 in 20.
He likes Magnus, especially after TI. We're seeing it again here. This is going to be a nice kill. Although Zai jumps in with the BKB Dragon form, Shadow Step as well on top of the Haunt, and they'll be able to clean up at least one. Okay, nice. Ult coming out from John-Noel, and the Boomerang comes out as well. Skewer onto the high ground. Matu seeing butterflies. RP as well. They don't have the refresher quite yet.
He's broken,
for
though.
the Magnus. He is broken. No Aegis. He might die here. It's going to be close. Good bushwhack, though, keeping them at bay. So it ends up being a 2-for-1, and Matu just barely lives.
Oh, almost got the
Jab.
horn toss.
Yeah, good attempt.
That was actually
Zai wants to go really
over.
deep. He gets the Dragon Tail off. E-Blade on top of him, it looks like, and that is a huge Illuminate, but the double kill goes the way of Matu. Buyback now into jabs, and this is where Liquid probably tries to reset.
Dude, that was close. They almost got the kill on Spectre, and who knows what that would have developed into. So Liquid are not home and hosed just yet. I guess... I don't know if if DJ should have popped his BKB. So I think this is after. Yeah, DJ's already dead in this instance. So Jabs gets the skewer up, then a long distance RP into the Silver Edge, but there comes the halberd from Zai above. Really important.
Yeah.
In that instance.
And a big bushwhack.
Without that halberd, he's actually dead. So heads up from Zai. Very quick to react. Nice attempt though from Fnatic. I'm always very impressed when teams are far behind and they pull off these kind of attempts, because it shows that you know you're losing, but you're game planning around like some sort of specific conditions.
Yeah.
That you just premeditatively know what the goal is, and they almost accomplished it there. So very nice try.
So Roche is being taken out. Looks to be a freebie for Liquid. Aghanim Scepter available, Cinderin. I was going to say it's obviously going to be Zai. What about Mickey? Will-O-Wisp against Magnus? Isn't that quite good? It will be Zai.
I think the problem here is that it's ineffective against 3 heroes, right? Terrorblade has BKB, Pango has his ult, and Shaman has BKB, so I don't know if it pressures enough versus having the Black Dragon form. I just think that's more value. Right, Fnatic are going to go for it again. They have RP in 10 seconds, and there's a double damage.
Oh boy.
This is
28k lead though for Liquid.
It's a bottle DD.
The Aegis is on Zai, Cheese on Matu. That's interesting. Why did they take Aegis on DK? I mean, Mickey has, I think he's 6 slotted, right? He has a null talisman. I mean, that is a very good item.
I don't know why, actually. I think the Aegis on Dragonite is also a little bit... I'm a little bit unsure here. Like, maybe they want to just, die and buy back the Spectre, so this way they get extra lives in the fight in case.
Okay, Horn Toss Skewer back. That is a huge one into a nice RP as well. That's the real Spectre. Rolling Thunder on top with that shard from Pango. They're just ripping right through the Aegis.
That's why he has the Aegis.
And that is DK form down. So the Aegis, he's a human form, Cinder, and uses the overwhelming blink. So will survive, and now into the base they go. Looks like the Shadow Shaman is going to be the first to fall for Fnatic. This might break things up.
Monster didn't even have to use the cheese there. They used so many spells. Blind.
Okay, Jabs is spotted out. So be a nice kill, but he takes the Aphotic Shield and skewers to safety.
Oh, it's a 25 Coddle. He has the Blinding Light stun. That talent slaps, by the way. It is so good. Very low cooldown spell. With your own chakra, you push people out of position and then stun them. Usually what people do when they get Blinding Lit is that they use BKB, right?
Right.
But you can just get caught out and have nothing to do about it.
Okay, the game seems to be slightly extended. Cheese is still there, though, for Matu. That's the big deal, but no DK form quite yet. Try to take some building.
This time he doesn't have Aegis.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage. Mickey uses that Dagon.
See you, Pango.
Gets rid of Armel. Does have buyback, though, as now the buildings are starting to fall. But again, without the DK form quite up yet, this is a bit slow. Fortifications pop now for Fnatic. And Liquid, I mean, you can tell how disciplined they're playing. I guarantee you that if they did not lose yesterday, they would have been a little bit more aggressive. There's the tier 3 tower down, and now focusing on the racks potentially. DK form pop by Zai. Raven. It's off the Silver Edge proc.
That is
have
a
his
huge
meta,
dragon.
Yeah, he's quite big. Okay, the Horn Toss back with the skewer. Do they have enough damage to actually take out Zai? There's the Rolling Thunder. It is basically 5 versus 1 as the buildings are falling, and the rest of Liquid are just running.
Cute try.
Liquid. All right.
I like that TP attempt. That was pretty cute.
Two siege creeps on the barracks, Cinderin. 2 siege creeps. You need to kill them. They actually redirect to the range.
Easy
and the
disarm.
melee racks with 80 health, and they will regenerate.
That is true. All right, they hold. Magnus on defense. Something can always happen.
Slightly surprised they didn't just finish the racks if they were just going to run away. All 5 were in the fountain, essentially.
Yeah, calling that a fullback when Zai is getting gone on that far away, I agree. That seems a little bit too overcautious, but Oh, we'll see. They're just going to go for more.
Yeah.
They have RP and no Zai. This could be big.
Yes.
If Zai buys back, even the connection time of the TP can make the difference here. Because Fnatic do have pretty quick burst damage, and now they have the safety of not getting Dragon-tailed when they get a pick.
Yeah, I think this has been spotted out, though, as Liquid.
They're playing very safe.
Yeah. I mean, do you agree with what I'm saying? If yesterday didn't happen, they wouldn't be playing as passive?
Probably. It's probably in the back of their minds. Yeah.
All right, Serpent Wards to help secure this Tier 2 tower. So Fnatic gaining some ground here. I mean, this lead is still redonkulous, though, for this time of the 42 minutes. And Raven has Satanic, Scotty, BKB, Silver Edge, Hurricane Pike, going for Divine Rapier next.
Dare I say we may have a miracle? Oh, hang on.
Okay.
I was just forcing a battle. I was going to say, dare I say we may have a miracle on our hands if this is a comeback? I think this graph was down to 0% 2 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure that's 100. Because it took a little bit of a... It went up a little bit to 99, and now it's 98. I think it flatlined on 100% there for a good minute and a half, if you see that. Okay. Which isn't technically 100. I have won one game 0 to 100%. One time in a pub. I have not won a game in competitive Dota with 0 to 100. I have, as a matter of fact, not won a competitive game in a very long time.
Yes, I was going to say the exact same thing.
Nor have you.
Good joke.
But you were good at CS once in a while. Once upon a time. Nowadays, once in a while, maybe.
Zai. Oh, he gets the double damage right in front of Raven. So Raven not able to secure that for himself as the Dagon.
Oh, 1 second cooldown borrow time.
Yeah, borrow time not there in time. I would call that a pun, but it was just terrible. Even I'll admit that was terrible. Raven, if he gets caught out, Cinderin, it's be a pretty big deal. Gets off the Silver Edge, and that will buy enough space.
He's out. Okay.
All right, is it down to the next Roche? With a 32K lead for Liquid.
I can definitely see why this is difficult for Liquid, right? They, like you pointed out, their only real siege hero is Dragon Knight, who isn't the best anymore at sieging relative to the game state, and he can get blink skewered at any point. Yeah. So it's not like it's just go and hit the racks, lol, you've won. Even though the win expectancy is super high for them, of course, because they have such a ridiculous gold lead and a very strong late game competition.
We talked about it. Like Spectre as a hero, not great for high ground taking at all.
Yeah, it's definitely got its issues with that.
But having said that, Cinderin, he is quite tanky on the Spectre, and if he is the one hitting the buildings and they try that skewer shenanigans, eventually I feel like he would get out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, DK is super tanky. I mean, okay, let's say
health.
if they go for the okay, that is a divine. So did actually commit for it, going all in, and I can't say I disagree with this at all. This is probably the right play in this situation.
This is the 1%. Here it comes.
Divine Rapier. What did he get rid of?
Another item that he had.
Good joke.
Hex.
Rolling Thunder. I hear it. There it comes for Armel.
No tombstone.
Not going to connect on Stadium. Finally does on the rebound. Bushwhack actually does hit, but no actual follow-up.
He got rid of his treads on Terribly.
Oh, he's bootless. That's true.
Yep. But he does have Pike as well as Silver Edge.
Silver Edge, yep. There's the Horn Toss Skewer. This will be a big kill.
Disc.
But Disc.
They
RP. Unfortunate timing there.
No, it was on purpose,
goes through the BKB. So it looks like Raven will live as a result. Armel still connecting on this DK, but he's just so tanky. They don't do enough damage right now. Looks like they'll need to reset. So Fnatic, back to the high ground defense they go. Raven looking for a potential Sunder. Instead goes for the right clicks onto the Undying. Not quite enough to get the kill, but the Illusions are doing a lot of damage.
He got him.
And Raven ends up securing himself that kill at the very least. Matu with the Shadow Step. They really want to focus the Magnus, but very, very tricky hero to kill right now. And Liquid resetting again. It feels so weird to watch a game where it's so hard to take high ground when you're this far behind.
Yeah.
Magnus Gaming, I guess.
Honestly, I feel like it's pretty telling that Jabs chose to RP and A on this Coddle. Like, they 100% knew the disc was popped. They 100% knew it was still running. They just wanted that 1 second stun into hopeful repositioning.
Yeah.
Because they know at the moment the disc runs out, Coddle dies to like 3 hits from Terrorblade. But it does have the E-Blade that you also need to worry about, and there's no nullifier in their team. So I feel like that was a little bit ambitious to go for that.
Zai with another double damage. Abyssal Blade now online for Bo2.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Roshan is up, Cinderin, as we see the Dagon Express come.
Oh,
Dragon Tail to follow. Is this enough to actually take out Raven? It is. No buyback.
And no John Well to cover that time.
Should do it. One would think, Cinderin is Armel with the Rolling Thunder trying to take out the creeps. He's going to do a decent job, but there's a fortification, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Okay, Blinding Light, you see that stun like you talked about. Goes into his little shell with that shard. Gets off the swash as well, extremely slow, and the boomerang is there to finish him off.
All right, that's got to be it.
Yeah,
so
Divine
Terrorblade,
Rapier on DK. Now he can push.
Terrorblade got caught without a Baton alive, and that's just the difference maker there. There's nobody to get that Aphotic Shield so he can pop BKB Sunder. Liquid take full advantage of it, get the Rapier on Dragon Knight, and it looks like this time, unless...
Wait for it! Oh,
right.
The Blinding Light just in time. Beautifully done. So no Divine Rapier shenanigans being turned around again. Big boomerang, my goodness. And that is a buyback now into the Magnus, but Liquid looks like they're going to get their first victory of the Stockholm Major.
That's it.
And that should do it. GGs are called. A 47-minute game, 56K network lead at the end. Liquid dominated from start to finish, but Fnatic, they made them sweat a little bit thanks to the high ground defense and all the Magnus shenanigans, but I do think that yesterday's game against Thunder Awaken might have affected Liquid's psyche just a wee bit.
I think there's a lot of positives to look at in this game. First of all, for Liquid, I really think their draft was clever. I think the last pick, Coddle, was really the glue in getting them this far ahead. It gave them everything they needed to give Spectre time. This time they played their lanes very well. They crushed mid. They did very well top with the Undying Spectre lane. And they also got First Blood bottom, I think, with their Dragon Knight and Hoodwink lane. So all the lanes went well. For Fnatic, I think the bright side here is, considering how extremely far you fell behind, you held on for a good 20-30 minutes in a game that was incredibly hard to play. You still looked at the one or two conditions you had to find a favorable fight, and you executed pretty damn well. Like, in a lot of these situations, if the difference in gold is maybe like 5K, 10K less, they'd do a full-on comeback here.